All right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Carollo's Corner at it'sallaboutschools.com. My guest today, a person with doesn't need any introduction, the three-time defending sectional champion, Coach Chuck Smith of the Mainland Mustangs. Say hello, Chuck.
Hey, how you doing there, Joe?
Good, good. Thanks for coming on the show today. Tell us a little bit about the 2025 Mainland Mustangs. I know you have a lot coming back. Probably have a lot of different kids to talk about.
Yeah. We have a experienced group coming back. Quite a few four-year letter winners potentially coming back. A lot of these kids played as freshmen, played meaningful minutes also as freshmen. A lot of them started as sophomores and, of course, as juniors. One of the three straight sectional championship teams and two runs at the state title. So we bring back a lot of experience. And by that being said, also, we have a lot of youth being injected into the program also. We're right around 100 people total, and 65 of those kids are freshmen and sophomores. So we have a big injection of youth into the program. Our freshman class is around 37 kids right now as we head into this season as we're going. But yeah, we're really looking forward to this season with what we bring back.
It's a normal amount of freshmen you have coming in. I'm not familiar with what would be considered a big class or not.
It's been fluctuating over the years. There were some years we had 20, 21, 22 kids.
Okay.
The last couple of years we've been right underneath 40, which is pretty good, especially in light of our school enrollments declining a bit because we went from group 4 to group 3. But our freshman numbers have been climbing opposite of what our school enrollment's doing.
That's good. So the program is looking really good, moving forward. Then it seems. What are a silly question, but the goals for this year? I mean, I'm sure it's nothing less than that state title again.
We've had a taste of it the past 2 years, winning it 2 years ago. Lost to a very good Old Tappan team last year up at Rutgers. But that's the kids. The kids' focus is to get back to Rutgers, whatever it takes to get back there. We know. That's way down the road. December we're looking at, and we're here in August getting ready to start on Monday. And we know it takes a lot to get there. We have to have a little bit of luck of staying healthy. And we have a heck of a schedule. There's no gimmies on that schedule that we have. Perhaps one of the toughest divisions in the state of New Jersey with who's in our division. So it's a matter of surviving that schedule also. We were fortunate to survive it last year. And I think due to the quality opponents that we played throughout the year, it really prepared us for a successful playoff run last season. And we're hoping for the same this year.
I was going to get to that schedule in just a minute. Before I do, how would you compare this team coming into the 22, 23, and 24 teams?
Well, the 23 team is just an elite team by itself. I mean,
yeah,
you had several standout all-state players on that team. I think 6 of the kids wound up receiving some sort of all-state recognition from that team. The 22 team was an overachieving team. I thought, we had some talent, but we had a lot of youth in that team too, which prevailed the following year. Last year, a good group of guys worked hard, in light of the schedule change that we had. And we were able to go on a really successful playoff run to have another shot at a state championship. And, each year it's a little different. We lose a couple guys with a 4-year starter in Dan DeFeo, a team captain right there, just leadership beyond leadership with Dan. So that'll be sorely missed right there. Obviously Rocco DiBiaso leaving us, who was, he was just a bowling ball in the playoff run that we had last year. It was a hard guy to replace also. But we have a lot of guys back. Like this group of seniors, I can remember when they were in 8th grade, they were highly recruited. Everybody wanted them. The prep wanted them, Spirit wanted them. And I was fortunate enough that they all came to Mainland, and they stayed together. And obviously, they get to play with their friends that they've grown up with their whole lives, and it's been a very successful run for them, not just in football, but in all the other sports also.
Yeah, well, I'm glad they stayed home. It's been an entertaining couple of years, so it's been really great. Getting back to that schedule, any game you really have your eye on the circle before the beginning of the year?
Yep, Atlantic City, first game.
Gotcha.
That's the key right now. Obviously we have big goals and aspirations for the season, but you can't get there unless you start taking care of week by week things. You just don't automatically get an invitation to Rutgers. You got to earn it, and that starts with August 29th down there in Delaware playing Atlantic City. And it's always fun to play Atlantic City. Coach Wright does a tremendous job with that team, getting those kids out. They made it to the sectional finals last year.
Yes.
they were a tough team last year. They're going to be a tough team again this year. I know they're going to be a little bit on the young side, but you know what? They always have talent, and he does a great job coaching those kids, and they'll be ready for us.
So I was going to ask you, the Atlantic City game, does this count for PowerPoints? Because I know out-of-state games don't count, but it's not an out-of-state team. How does the
Right. It'll be a regular game for us. We're just playing it in Delaware. We played in the Battle Beach for a few years, and that was a lot of fun. But we want to try to do something different with these guys. These guys played in 3 straight Battle Beach games. And we always lost a home game in that. You know what I mean? So we lose a home game here at the Corral to play in Ocean City. And it was a nice atmosphere. Don't get me wrong. We had a lot of fun playing. We were successful in it 3-0 during the Battle Beach. But I wanted to do something different with this group of kids for them to experience something. And one of my buddies from college, John Schmid, he runs the Pigskin Classic at Salesianum High School. He's done it for a number of years, and he had reached out to me seeing if we'd be interested in playing. And we said, yeah, we want to try it this year. These kids are all, 18 seniors on this team, and we want them to have a little different experience. And we tried to play some out-of-state teams. We were in touch with a team from 2 teams from Pennsylvania, a team from Maryland.
I was just going to ask you about that. Yeah, what happened?
Yeah, and they just kind of fell apart. It's all of us coaches, we always talk to other teams, and then you do your homework to see, hey, is this going to be a feasible game or not? Not that you're looking for an easy win, but you're looking for a competitive game. Right. And, those teams dropped us. And then I just reached out to Coach Wright and asked them if they would be interested in playing down Delaware, even though we're only, hop, skip, and a jump away from each other here across the bridge. And he said, yeah, it would be a great experience for them. And I believe they're doing it as an overnight trip for them, so they're making it a great experience for the kids in Atlantic City also. So, and the facilities are top notch at Salesianum High School. It's like playing at a college stadium. It'll be a fun time. It'll be something a little bit different than what we're used to doing.
All right. So what do you look at strengths versus your worries this year? Like, what do you feel beside, you have a lot of experience coming back, and I personally know a lot of the talent. I mean, anything that which would obviously be your strengths, anything that, worries you a little coming into this?
I think as you always worry about injuries. Injury could really set you back to key positions. I think what I'm really honing on this preseason, what we've worked on during the summer, is developing depth. There's going to be a time. Injuries are going to happen. It's football. It always does. We've had guys over the last 3 seasons that have gone down at various points of the season, missed a game or 2 here or there, and that will happen. It's just a matter of fact. So we're really trying to develop our depth. And what happens now is our depth gets young, what we have, some of these freshmen that are coming in, they're big kids. We got several kids that are 6 foot or better, and we got several kids that are 250 or better. A lot of kids are right around the 200 mark, very strong and athletic, but they're young. They're young, inexperienced with the way the game is played, the speed of the game at the high school level. And they got it. They're learning now. It's kind of like learning a foreign language. They're coming in here. Everything's brand new to them.
All right.
So it takes time to develop that. And we got to do a great job coaching wise to develop that depth. So if God forsaken something happens, we can plug one of those kids in and they're ready to play at that time.
All right. No good interview can go on without some good dirt and gossip. I've heard through the grapevine, Group 3. You guys are obviously one of the favorites. So I've been hearing it's over. It's going to be Mainland and Cedar Creek. The other 28 teams are just there to fill in space. How do you? We both know that there's more than 2 teams out there.
Oh yeah, I just look at like a team like Homedale last year that we played in the playoffs. Their quarterback's back. A great dual threat kid that could throw and run. When I went up and scouted them when they played their playoff game against Oakcrest, he accounted for 5 touchdowns in that game. Okay. And we were scared to death to play him. And there's always a team that, will pop off the map. You don't know how every team is. Some teams may have been young last year, and this is the year that they're shooting for the turn around, take that next step up. So you never know when those teams come out of the woodwork too. And all it takes is one team to have a great day against you. That's all it takes. There's plenty of teams that, if we played them 10 times, they might beat us 8 times, but the 2 times we might beat them. And that's the thing about the playoffs. There's always an upset here or there. Even last year in the bracket, there were upsets, number 1 seed gets knocked off, things like that, and that happens. So, I don't pay attention to any of that stuff, to tell you the truth. Do we keep tabs on people as the season progresses? Sure. Especially knowing where we are and potential teams that could be there, but you never know what's going to be until the end anyway, when it all shakes out and the brackets come and all that stuff, we just got to worry about Atlantic City, then worry about the next team after that and the next team after that.
Right. Yeah. So that's basically the way you're, keeping. I was going to say, how do you keep these kids away? It's kind of like a bad road you don't want to go down. How do you keep them off of that street? You're not. So your answer basically is you're not buying into that. You're not even.
No. Hey, listen, we know we have a lot of experience back. The kids aren't dumb. They know that too. We know, our goals the past 3 years, have been to get to the state championship. And we've been fortunate 2 out of 3 years to get there. And we've been in 3 straight state semifinals. So that's the goal again this year. That's a standard here at Mainland right now, and that's when you bring back a lot of experience, that's what you hope to be again, and what happens down then will happen. We can't control that until that happens. So yeah, we have big goals, but we always worry about what's in front of us right now.
Great approach. I love it. Getting back to Group 3, who are some of these contenders that you're hearing about? I know Burlington Township's always good.
Yeah, Burlington Township's good. Holmdel will be in the mix, I'm sure.
Somerville.
Cedar Creek, he's got a lot of kids coming back also. I kind of don't even look at that stuff till really we get into the last third of the season.
Okay.
And then I start to pay attention to the PowerPoints and who's seated where and where it might fall and who's in there, because usually once the PowerPoints come out and you're into that last third of the season, you kind of have a really good idea
right.
of the teams that are going to be in the bracket. There might be a couple teams that could sneak in those last couple weeks.
Well, don't forget, there's always that one game around week 7 or week 8 where there's a huge upset and it upsets the entire apple cart.
Oh yeah,
every year.
It happened, And the thing, we were fortunate even last year. We went into the playoffs with 3 losses, and we were one of the top seeds because of the strength of schedule that we have. And I don't see that being any different this year either. There were some weeks where we lost a game and we gained in the standings just because of the teams that we play. You look at our schedule. Millville, the Prep, Winslow. Top-notch teams right there that are all expected to make a lot of noise this season. And then there's no slouches. Even teams that were down a little bit in the past. In Hamilton, new coach. Ocean City, new coach. So there's new blood there. Cherokee, new coach, new blood there again. Delsey is always a competitive football team, even when they're down, and they were down, so to say, last year, and they made it to the second round of playoffs.
I was telling somebody the other day, I said, they've never seen a bad Delsey team.
Nah, they're always tough. There's good football program out there. They've been that way for a number of years, and then you still have, EHT, that's always, a tough team in the backyard type of thing too, so there's no slouches on the schedule whatsoever.
Yeah. And I do think that schedule makes you more battle tested. A team like you guys will go in there against other teams that have maybe had some schedule relief, which doesn't always do you good. So I think this is, it's going to help.
You just hope to survive it and,
and
not get, some years I've seen some teams that had tough schedules and they physically just get beat up and they can't survive it, and last year we got beat up a little bit through that schedule, especially in the gauntlet part of it. But we were able to survive it, and we're hoping for the same this year.
All right, awesome. Yeah, I think your program's definitely, I can't even say in the right direction. I would say that happened a couple of years ago. You're in a great place right now. It's often said, you can never relive the past, but you look back to the 90s, which I always refer to as the glory days for Mainland, and they're definitely back. I think we could all agree on that.
Yeah, the mid 90s through the late 90s, we had a great run there, winning 3 championships, and then we lost the finals in 99. And then in the 2000s, we had some runs there where we made 3 finals, and we won 2 sectionals in the 2000s there. And then we were kind of silent for 15 years in a way. Just kind of bouncing up and down from 2008 when we won undefeated and won Group 4, like from 09 till 22. It was kind of like a silent era of Mainland football in a way. We were competitive, but we just weren't making any noise in the playoffs. And we've just been fortunate the last couple of years to be on the better side of that stuff.
Yeah, and like I said, I think that definitely the good old days are back. Chuck, I want to thank you for coming on the show. Wish you the best of luck this year. I'm sure I'm going to see you a bunch of times out there.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to some good jumping jack celebrations. Some may not understand me. If you know, you know.
Yep. Well, I appreciate it, Joe. Appreciate all you do for our football program and for other teams in South Jersey also.
I appreciate you guys as well. It's greatly appreciated. I'd like to have you back here possibly in October to do a little, I wouldn't say a preview of the Ocean City game. I know Matt Ulmer does a great job on that. Don't want to step on his toes. I'd like to do a little history of the rivalry.
Sure.
My personal favorite rivalry made me a high school football fan. So I'd love to have you back that first week of October. Just go over, some of the good memories, some of the bad memories, unfortunately, and everything else in between.
There was a lot of both sides of that one, that's for sure.
Yeah, I know. We'll discuss that then. Again, Chuck, I want to thank you for coming on the show. Everybody, it's Joe Carullo again at Carullo's Corner at it'sallaboutschools.com. We will see you with another preview coming up shortly. Thank you, Chuck.
Thank you.